Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Born Again to Live, where it is a nonstop time warp continuum. Right, Eric?
That's right. It's one of those crazy times.
It is a Tuesday. As you're listening to this, it is President's Day Monday. Hope everybody's just having the best President's Day ever. What did we celebrate that holiday with, Eric? Like
yesterday was
Yesterday was, yeah. So everyone went out.
that time more.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It's just really bizarre how we live our lives. But yeah, I hope everybody went out and got their great furniture prices and
car dealerships.
Tires, I think, go on sale, and maybe some of those winter fashion is all 50% off now because we've got the spring cargo coming in. Yeah, I don't know what everyone did on President's Day. I know a lot of people have to work, and then there are those that don't have to work. So, but yeah, we are here on President's Day podcasting for Tuesday when you're going to be listening to this. So anyhow, I'm just excited that we have another day here in Big Blue. It's our first recording session in Big Blue of the new year, isn't it?
It is. And it's funny because the first time we ever recorded here, we did it in a slightly chilly room, we called it, but it was cold.
Yeah.
Today, it's not warm.
Yeah, you could definitely set some Jell-O in this temperature.
And I got cracked up. I got started laughing on this episode because as soon as I looked over at Amy as she was working on the intro, her glasses were fogged on like half of the lens, and I like looking at her like, oh my gosh, it's so cold in here.
It is glasses and hat season, Eric. Like pretty soon I'll get back to contacts, but not while the air is so dry.
I'm just coming off of a 4-day sickness of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue what it was. It just, for 4 days I was absolutely fatigued and fevered and had a small cough. And now I'm better, so it's, thank God.
Yep. And we had kind of a smaller than normal Big Blue on Saturday as well. It was Valentine's Day, and I don't know if people were just doing the date night thing or just the staying home thing, but
there was a bunch of events going on, basketball games and and stuff like that.
It was nice, though. It's just kind of a small group like back in the day, and I gotta tell you, like Michael closed us out in prayer, and it was such a small group that we kind of just did this huddle, and we put our arms around each other. And man, I just, you know how sometimes the Holy Spirit just feels like this thickness in the air. And I just felt that in that moment, this real small, like huddled up prayer on Saturday night. It was awesome. Like I was just so thankful for, we get excited when we have 30 and 40 kids to something, but I'm just as thankful for those little groups too.
Oh yeah. Those little nights when you have 10, 15, even less, you get to know them on such a personal level. Like you can talk to them, you can find out how life's going, and I'm not just there to keep an eye on them. I'm there to learn about.
Yeah. I had some great conversations on dropping the kids off at H&T. So that was because I was kind of in like spring cleaning mode during the Big Blue night, but on the ride back, it's just great to have that car time. Kids are really good about talking in cars. Like there's something, everyone facing forward, no one looking each other in the eye. Like kids are great at talking in cars. So yeah, I had some great conversations with these two girls, and it was it's been a good Valentine's, President's Day weekend, and now we're in that weird place between one holiday and the big day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Actually, does that make today Fat Tuesday technically? I think it is. I think it's Fat Tuesday. All right, so that means we need to...
It's my own day.
I was going to say, now we really need to get some food at Drifters from lunch.
So yeah, that's what happened over the weekend, and ready to start podcasting on a new topic.
Oh, okay. You want the new topic. All right.
Let's go. Amy's the idea person today.
Well, I had this thing happen, and I told Eric, it's like, I kind of just want to talk about it a little bit because, so yesterday, it was a Sunday, and it was just one of those, it was dreary. It was just dreary, not too cold though, but the perfect day to go to IHOP and get a nice warm cup of coffee. And so I got to tell you, I met one of my campers, and she works on weekends and stuff, and she got a driver's license. She just turned 17. So every so often we just meet up and grab pizza, grab food. And so it's just kind of funny because we finally meet up at the IHOP, and I had been craving pancakes for like weeks. And she's, as teens often do, she's like, bro's finally getting her pancakes. Like, you haven't shut up about it. And it was funny because I'm like, you're right, bro is finally getting my pancakes. And to the outside observer, you're like, just get some pancakes already, Amy. Like, you could make them all. But I don't know, Eric, there's something about when they make the pancakes for you. They're just so much better.
Yeah.
And they have pancakes at H&T, right?
Oh, yeah.
Are they
the best pancakes?
Are they? Okay.
They are the best pancakes.
The best.
I can't tell you a secret, but they are they're a sweet cream.
Oh,
Oh, they got a sweetness to them.
okay. I got to try them.
And blueberry pancakes.
Ooh, okay.
Those are a specialty of the Eric household.
I mean, I was just craving just plain old stack of pancakes. And so, yeah, I could have made it myself. I could have gotten them weeks ago, but I don't know, building up that anticipation. So, yeah, bro finally got our pancakes. And so I'm having this, just checking in on this camper, and we're having a grand old time and catching up on life. And so what happened was at the end of we're kind of getting ready to go because she's got to get to her job. And as we're sitting there, this couple comes in and sits in the booth behind us. And I noticed that they were wearing these stickers that you would get as a visitor at the Winchester Medical Center. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it might have even been the sticker for the emergency room. They have different, their visitor ones are just like, they just slap the number of the room on there. There's no the picture and all that fancy stuff that you get at the main check-in. And I know this, guys, because I spend a lot of time in Winchester Medical Center.
And he's a frequent.
I really am. In fact, I have the coffee punch card down at the cafeteria. I'm about ready for my free coffee. But anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm noticing the gentleman who's kind of facing me, and he's got the hospital sticker on. And so this young lady comes back from the restroom, and I said, well, it's too bad we have to go because like these people just sat down and they're, hadn't even ordered yet or anything. But I said, what I'd love to do is just pick up their check. Like if the waitress were to come by and like, let's just say we hadn't already paid our bill, Eric, like I've done this before, but as I'm paying my check, I'll just sort of point to somebody. I'm like, can I have their check too? And I'll pay for it. And I just like, you don't need to tell them, just like, let them know somebody wanted to bless them today. And a lot of times the servers are like, really? Like they're shocked. Like, really? Wow. Okay. And I think especially when you're telling them like, they don't need to know who it is. Like, you mean you don't want the credit? Like, do you know those people? They're very vexed when you do something like this. And so, my camper was like, wow, that's so sweet of you to want to do that. And I said, well, you want to know why? And I said, it's because like they're wearing stickers from the hospital. They just came from the hospital. Here it is, a Sunday afternoon. Their day is bad enough already. If they're visiting a loved one in the hospital, they're already having a bad day. And I said, and I just want to bless them. And like sometimes it seems like such a small thing, but the kindness of a stranger goes so far. And so, Eric, I told her this story, and I guess I'd never shared this with her. And the funny thing is, even now, like, I can't tell this story without crying. And so if I ever was, like, acting in a movie and they needed me to cry on cue, I would have to go back to this day. And so my dad had pancreatic cancer, and that's a doozy. Like, you lose a lot of weight, you get really sick looking. And so my dad had lost so much weight, and he really did look like the Walking Dead. But this was a time when he was still not quite bedridden yet. And my mom was like, we need to get your dad out of the house. We got to get the bed sheets changed. And I think she was getting some help with just cleaning because she was overwhelmed. And so some cleaners were coming in. She's like, get your dad out of the house for a couple hours so we can just get the house cleaned. And I'm like, okay, Mom, no problem. Well, my dad had always loved breakfast, Eric, like much like my pancake craving for 2 weeks. Like, my dad loved breakfast. Like, we used to make a joke that he would go through the Stephen City McDonald's drive-thru almost every day and get as we like to call, a cardio biscuit. But he just loved his bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits. He loved nothing more than just going to the men's breakfast at church, going out to eat for, brunch after. Like, he was a breakfast guy. So I'm like, okay, I know how we can get him out of the house. I'm taking him to Denny's. And my parents loved the Denny's in Strasburg. I don't even think it's there anymore. But so here we are, like southern or northern part of Winchester, going all the way down to Strasburg to go to his favorite Denny's. And so, of course, I'm thinking he's going to order like bacon and eggs and hash browns and toast and like the whole 9 yards. And so we placed our orders, and all he got, Eric, was a Oreo milkshake. And I'm like, Dad, are you sure that's all you want? And he's like, yeah, that's all I want. And, like looking back now, I realize when kind of you're that deep into cancer, like the cancer does all the dictating at that point, and all you crave is sugar. So it makes sense that in this moment, he didn't want like protein and even grease. He just wanted sugar. So he gets an Oreo milkshake. I didn't need to go all the way to Strasburg Denny's to get that, but okay, here we are. So he's having his Oreo milkshake for breakfast. Hopefully I was having pancakes. I don't know. But anyway, the end of the meal comes, and the waitress, she comes to, I kind of grab my wallet because I'm thinking, she's bringing me the check. I'm like, oh, here, let me get this for you. And she goes, no, don't worry about it. Your check's already been paid. And I'm like, what? And she goes, somebody picked it up. Y'all are good. You guys have a great day. And I'm like, Eric, I was blown away. And it wasn't an expensive check because, as previously stated, all my dad got was a milkshake. So it was like, maybe $18, $19, $23 after tax and things like that. But Eric, that $23 or whatever has never meant more to me. And what it was is like in that moment, somebody in that Denny's saw me. They saw my dad, like maybe from afar. They saw the situation, and maybe they themselves had once been there. Like, oh my gosh, I know what that looks like. I know what cancer looks like. I can see the fatigue, the frustration, like the expression on my face that says like, yeah, I know I don't have him for much longer. And so whoever it was in that Denny's that saw this whole thing play out, they just had enough compassion to say, we're just going to bless these people and pick up their check. And it's not this $1 million gesture, but I'm telling you, Eric, $23 has never meant more in my whole life. And like I said, this story, like, it's just touched me for well over a decade. And I'll just continue talking about it because in our worst days, in our most desperate times, like, all we really need is to feel like somebody sees us and understands us. And in that moment, like, knowing that somebody in that Denny's wanted to bless me and pick up that check, or bless my dad and pick up the check, it just meant the world to me, Eric. And to this day, I have no idea who it was. Maybe it was the server. Maybe it was, because it wasn't a busy day. It was like 11:30 on a Tuesday morning. It wasn't packed in there. But so to this day, that's why when I see people coming in with, hospital visitor stickers, that's my first response is like, I just want to bless them. They don't need to know who I am. I just want to do that. So it was a teachable moment. I'm telling this camper, and I'm like bawling like I just lost him yesterday. And of course she's like, I'm so sorry. I said, it's okay now. I said, I've grieved my dad, but it was just one of the most poignant memories from that whole time period that was nothing but grief and stress. So I just wanted to kind of talk about how I'm thinking about how I can't even like point to kids anymore, Eric, because us adults are equally as bad. And I know long before Toys R Us shut down, like there used to be one where I lived, and I remember going in there to like, I don't know, probably get a birthday gift for my nephew or something. But I'd go into Toys R Us and I'd see these parents head down in their phone. Like their kids are having the time of their life because they are in Toys R Us. And these parents were just so not focused on the most precious thing that they have in their whole life. Whatever was on that phone was more important than their kids' joy in a toy store. And, but it's everywhere, Eric. It's in restaurants. Don't even get me started on the tablets in the restaurants, but it's in the restaurants. It's everywhere we go. We are so distracted that we are failing to look up and look around and say, who needs blessing today? Yeah. And, we're praying for people coming into our lives that we can have an opportunity to minister to. And have you met Jesus? And we're asking God, help us to plant these seeds. But Eric, I guess my whole point in telling this story is step one is to look up, people.
Yeah. No, it starts at home though, I think, with the kids and parents, because my kid gets mad at me, but we sit at the dinner table and there's no phones.
Yeah.
He's like, Dad, this is pointless. It's just you and I. But no, when I was growing up as a kid, like that's what you did for family dinner. You didn't go to the TV. You didn't go to your room. You went and sat down at the dinner table and you ate dinner together.
Yeah.
And you shared about your day, whether you wanted to or not, you did.
Yep.
And I believe that's what's missing from the foundation of the whole family problem that we have in the world now, is that we don't do that. We don't get together and shut down and just say, all right, how was your day, kids?
Yeah.
Or, hey, this happened at work today. I ran into so-and-so, or I was at the IHOP. And you tell stories, and that's what we don't do anymore. And then it goes from there to the restaurants. You're right. We go out to eat for dinner. Everybody's sitting around on their phone.
Yeah.
Not just having a conversation. Put the phone down, have the conversation. But then to where you're at with the blessing people. I do it all the time. Like, I love to do it too. But I love to do it in the random acts, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll go through the Walmart or McDonald's drive-thru and be like, I don't know, I just got $50 for something, and I'm like, I don't need $50 for whatever it was, or you get change from something, and you're like, hey, there's a 50, and you're like, well, I could use that for this, and then you're like, nah. So you go through the drive-thru, and I hand it to the cashier, and I'm like, listen, however far this goes, use it. And they look at you like this confused look of, what do I do with that? And I love it, because then I have to explain to them, just like, lay it on your register, and the next how many ever people come through, that $50 pays for them until you get done with that money. And
yeah,
I've done it for hundreds and fifties. And then,
wow.
And then there's times where I've looked at her and been like, I'll pay for the next 2 cars.
Yeah.
And she just like looks at me and she's like, well, I don't know how to do that. And I'm like, just ring mine up, then ring theirs up, then ring theirs up, and I'll just pay them all on the same card. And these people look at you at this and they're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Now I've had various reactions. I actually had a guy flip me off one time from behind me.
Wow.
I don't know why. No clue why.
Hey, buddy, I can pay for my own meal.
I guess that's what they thought. They honked the horn and flipped me off, and I'm like, thank you. Like, whatever. And
funny, that was my initial response at the Denny's. No, I'm kidding.
And then I've had people who like continue it going, because I've watched in the rear view or wherever, and you see them hand a card, and like, if I paid for theirs, maybe they're paying for the next. And
yeah,
I've heard stories of places that goes for like 10, 12 hours.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, maybe one day I'll be the start of one of those like CNN broadcasts. It's like, for the last 36 hours,
yeah,
West Virginia has paid for somebody else's lunch. It'd be the coolest thing in the world.
It's kind of like this fun, like, it's like God's gambling, right? Because you're like, all right, I know my bill was probably $11, but if I paid for the person behind me, what's that one going to be? But like, everyone has this randomness about it. So it's kind of fun and exciting. You just hope you don't have that order that like the whole office building, right? That'll be $285. Like,
that's why. That's where it ends. Like, sorry, I'm not paying.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got a budget here.
But no, I've done it before, and like I've went through, and my bill's like 2 sandwiches or whatever. It's like $12. I'm like, all right, that's not bad. And I'll go, can I pay for the next person? They're like, it's $1.80 something. I'm like, seriously? That's all.
That's it.
Like, that's the blessing for the day. But at least it's something.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a free cup of coffee is better than nothing.
It is. I've had that happen at Sheetz before, where I've gone in and she's like, is this all you got? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, just take it. I'm like, really? Like, I just, little acts of kindness are, I don't know, it's not about the free stuff. It's just about somebody wanting to just make your day a little bit. And like I'm saying that, guys, like, it wasn't like I needed the $23 that, like, it wasn't like I was in that moment just like hurting for my last dollar at that Denny's, but it was just the simple act of kindness that it is overwhelming at times, Eric, because I think this world is so devoid of just graciousness and kindness sometimes, and we are so stuck in our phones and stuck in our own little worlds that we just don't see the people hurting around us sometimes.
Well, and in a selfish world, I mean, that's what we are. We're a selfish world at this point. It's all about us, and
we're a selfish world.
Yeah, and if it doesn't benefit me, why am I going to do it? So that's what the world does. But the Christian side of things, I mean, we know who God is, and we know that God sees you all the time, everywhere. And I go back to that original Fallout Shelter talk that we did in the first meeting. Like, it was so great, because a couple of weeks before that, I was at a football game, and I'm walking from the bathroom, and I hear God just say, that girl. And I'm like, what about that girl? Like, I know her. And he's just like, tell her. And so I was like, hey, how are you? Talked to her for a minute and walked away. And I'm like, all right, I talked. What else do you want? And he's like, just, and then it starts being like, friend her on friend her on Facebook and send her the invitation to the Fallout shelter. And we get to the meeting weeks later and she's like, this saved my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, God saw you. Like, God saw you.
Yes, he did.
Because he pointed you out to me.
Yeah.
I did not see you. I had blinders on. I had complete blinders of I'm going here and that's my only mission. And God says, nope, over there. See that one in the bushes? That's mine. And I'm like, God saw you in that moment and he pointed you out to me. I didn't seek you out. And that gave that person more hope than you could ever imagine because they know, hey, Lord Almighty doesn't miss.
No, I mean, we just talked about Nathaniel, like Jesus seeing Nathaniel under the fig tree. And, but let's go back to like the super OG. This is in Genesis.
Yeah.
You know, we got to go all the way back to the very beginning when, if you remember Abraham and Sarah, you know, they've been promised this son and it's not happening. It's not happening. And, you know, Abraham's starting to kind of doubt God. And so, let's see, where should we start? So, well, anyway, so we had this Egyptian slave named Hagar, and she was kind of like I guess a lady's maid to Sarah, right? And so he slept with her so that he would have this heir that had been promised. And well, that was never God's plan. That was, you know, that was, as you like to say, Eric, he was trying to DIY it, right? Like, hey, God, I know you've got your will, but like, let me just help you out here, buddy. So anyway, I'm going to pick up maybe in verse 5. Then Sarah said to Abraham, I mean, technically, these are the earlier names, Sarai and Abram. But she says, you are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. I put my slave in your arms, and now she knows she is pregnant. She despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me. Your slave is in your hands, Abraham said. Do with her whatever you think best. So then Sarah mistreated her, and she fled from Sarah to Abraham. The angel of the Lord found Hagar near a spring in the desert. It was the spring that is beside the road to Shur. And he said, Hagar, slave of Sarai, where have you come from and where are you going? I'm running away from my mistress, she said. Then the angel of the Lord told her, go back to your mistress and submit to her. The angel added, I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count. The angel of the Lord also said to her, you are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son, and you shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery. He will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility toward all his brothers. Now, I don't know if that's the kind of thing I want to hear, just newly pregnant.
Sound a really good blessing.
Yeah, it kind of isn't. But anyway, here we get to the crux of the story. So Hagar, she gave the name to the Lord who spoke to her. You are the God who sees me. For she said, I have now seen the one who sees me. That is why the well was called Beer Lahai Roi. It is still there between Kadesh and Bered. So yeah, Hagar recognized that here she is, this just, you know, she's a nobody. She's a slave girl, an Egyptian slave girl, nonetheless, in the heart of all these Israelites. And she was mistreated and she was used and ran away. So she's a runaway now. And we don't really know how old she was either. She could have been, I mean,
probably young.
Yeah, kind of like your Fallout shelter. She could have been this young girl just completely terrified. But here God not only sees her, not only knows what she's going through, he sends an angel to talk to her. And so, you know, he is the God that sees. And, you know, for that moment for me in that Denny's, like, God saw me. He saw us. He saw my hurt, my pain, and he sent someone to bless me. And I think, guys, that needs to just be our prayer every day. Like, God, help me to lift my eyes up and see the people around me that need to know Jesus, that need encouragement, that need love, and be that light. That's That's the point. That's what I want to drive home on this Fat Tuesday. We've talked Chick-fil-A, we've talked pancakes, we've talked Denny's. I think it's a great topic for a Fat Tuesday, Eric.
And what is the name of God for the God who sees? Is it El Royai?
Roi, yep. El Roi, the God who
So,
sees.
the God who sees, and he is always seeing you guys. Like, even if you think you're hiding from him. I mean, Hagar was hiding. She
Yeah.
was in a bush. She was behind a bush. And no, he saw her. So
Yeah.
no matter what you think you are or where you are, God sees you. If you
So-
think you're too far away, he can't see you. He sees you. So and just have the hope that God sees you and that he's going to put the person who needs to see you also in that. We just got to pick our heads up and look
Yep.
and
That's
be
it.
bold enough to go, hey, God's telling me to go over there. I need to do this. Or, I mean, I talk about the giving at the drive-thru. I never do it unprompted. Like,
Yeah.
I always wait on God to say, hey, it's your turn. Do it here.
Yeah.
Like, here it is. Like, I don't just do it because I want to do it. It's always like, all right, God, if this is what you really want to do, you're going to bless me with the refund. Like, let's go. Like, but yeah, we can't just make it ourselves. We got to make sure God's the one putting that blessing out there.
Yeah, that's it. So be encouraged, guys. Just look around, see who needs to know God, see who just needs a smile put on their
Yeah.
face. Something as simple as that. And well, we're just getting teed up for tomorrow, guys. So it's going to be the beginning of Lent. It's Ash Wednesday tomorrow. And I'm excited, Eric.
Yep, me too. So we'll be back tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
See ya.